Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line. We have with us Nashville Mayor David Briley. He's answering your questions, answering our questions, and so let's just go to the phones. Let's go to Charles on line 1. Hello, Charles.
Yes. My state congressman says there's construction on the parkway because he got together with the mayor on the floor to push for the project. What was the problem on the parkway that we must walk on it and block off the lanes?
On the parkway? What do you mean exactly?
What necessarily walk was there on the parkway? Because John Clemens, who's running for mayor, says he walked with you, Mayor Briley, to get a project done on the parkway. What was the problem with the parkway that there must now be construction on it? What was that project?
So if you're talking about the 440 Parkway, I think that may be what he's talking about, I-440. So right now we're in the midst of a big project on 440 that was funded through the Improve Act, and it basically was constructed with concrete, and the concrete is very difficult to repair, so they're in there right now pulling out all of the concrete on 440 all the way from 40 to 65. I'm sorry, to 24 eventually, and they're going to replace it so it has the typical asphalt. Part of the improvements, though, will be better lighting along the 440. There are a couple of places where they will be taking the median out and adding additional lanes. I think they're at 21st and Hillsborough, just to move people through there more effectively. So
this is a state project, right?
It's a state project.
And do you feel like, I'm sure you're in contact with them, do you feel like it's moving along well? Obviously, it's a big inconvenience for everybody. There was no question it was needed, but do you feel like it's on time? What sense do you have?
So far, so good. I think we were very concerned at the beginning that it would bring the city to a standstill, and it certainly is an inconvenience, as you've said, but some of the early predictions about what it would mean have not come true, and so they're moving quickly, and it's going to, I think, come in as quickly as possible, and we'll have a better resource there in the middle of our town when it's done.
Well, let's go to Stacy. Hello, Stacy.
Good evening, Ben and Mr. Mayor. I was at a town hall meeting. It was billed as a town hall meeting that Mayor Briley appeared at back in October. This would be the fault of the organizers, not his, that very few questions were taken. It was pretty much monopolized by the interviewer. But at the end of the meeting, I approached the mayor privately, and it wasn't mine. I indicated to him that I had some things that I wanted to discuss that would take some time, and I did not want to embarrass him then. I do not want to embarrass him now, but I do want to say what happened at that point. I was realizing that the mayor had been there most of the evening, that he might want to go home to his family. So I indicated that we could either discuss it then, or if I could, I gave him my card, and I said, if you prefer, we could.
So are you saying you wanted to talk to him? Is that what you're saying?
To him, or if he could delegate, however, because I've been in touch with his office, and it hasn't really gone anywhere. And it gets frustrating over time, because I think these are very pertinent matters that I'm not sure that I've been told that some of the things I've had to say have been relayed to him, but the responses that I've gotten back in written form from the people who say that they've talked to him indicate to me that maybe they have not passed on the messages as effectively as I would. All of my conversations have been by phone. There's nothing that beats face-to-face.
Okay. All right. I almost wish you'd ask the question, but what
I guess what I would encourage you to do is just to call tomorrow, the 862-6000 number, and say that you called in on Open Line, and we'll make arrangements for me to get with you at some point real quick.
All right, very good. Well, that's great. All right, let's go to Donald. Hello, Donald. Donald, are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Great, go right ahead. What's your question?
Okay, how you doing, Mayor Briley? This is Donald Richardson with V&D Enterprise, LLC. We're working with a company out of Beaufort, Georgia, Boulder Construction. And I think one of the things that we wanted to know with the affordable housing project that you have going, we were wondering who could we talk to with maybe getting some of these containers that Boulder Construction is actually doing for the project?
Well, what I'd ask you to do is call in the mayor's office, call Matt Wiltshire at 862-6000 and leave a message with him. And he's going to be leaving the mayor's office here in the next couple of weeks to go to work exclusively on affordable housing, but he would be a good contact person for you. 862-6000, Matt Wiltshire.
Let's try one more call here. Let's go to Lucy. Hello, Lucy.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
And Mayor Briley,
Yes.
I want to say two things. One about the school board, and of course the other thing is the trees. I thought at first that you were going to do the big no-no here in Nashville and kind of take over, and the mayor takes over the school board. I agree with you that they need to stay off social media. To me, that's not communication. So I see where you're coming from now. And at first I thought, oh no, Carl Dean wanted to appoint members. I hope we're not going there. People got pretty upset. The trees, I was pretty upset about that because I just caught wind of it. And to me, those trees are symbolic of a lot of things here in Nashville. You know, it felt like we were left out. You know, the Japanese came up with a creature called Godzilla. They were occupied after World War II, and they signed a treaty in '63 that took away their army and left them at the will of Americans. Nashville was occupied differently than any other city during the Civil War at that time, and it changed their culture. And now it feels like, you know, we're occupied. And, you know, there was a protest song that made a hit back in June of 1963. A guy called Sakamoto. He sings it. And we called it the Sukiyaki song, and it's called I Look Up As I Walk. That's a translation, not from Sukiyaki, but that's a translation of the song. And when the cherry blossoms bloom, you look up and you go through a tunnel. That song, the guy who wrote the song, wrote it as a sad song because the protest to stop the Americans from occupying Japan had failed, and he was one of the protesters. So if you get a chance, cue that up on YouTube, Sukiyaki, and leave cherry trees alone and take care of them because they last longer if you do.
All right, Lucy, thank you.
Thanks, Lucy. It's always good to talk to you. I had lunch today with the Consul General from Japan, Kobayashi, at his residence with Council Lady Mina Johnson, and it had been pre-scheduled before all the hubbub of the weekend.
Because there's the tree. Were they given by the? Is that's the deal, right?
These trees probably were not. We've had the first Consul General Sato, when he came here and they moved the consulate from New Orleans to Nashville. He wanted to make a big introduction, and so for the first few years or so, the consulate was buying cherry trees and they were being planted around the city. It's not clear that any of these were or not, but I was concerned a little bit that he would feel that bringing the cherry trees down was some sort of slight to Japan. So we talked on Saturday, and he understood and was very, very thoughtful and appreciative of the call. And so the relationship with Japan is really important to the city of Nashville. Just this last year, I had the chance to go and visit our sister city there, Kamakura. And you know, it's interesting. The cherry tree in Japanese culture is like a sign of the fleeting nature of life, and so certainly that was brought home this weekend as we all had a conversation about the cherry trees downtown. And
Lucy felt some of what we discussed at the time, just like things were a little out of control. You addressed some of that, but I guess to speak what she's talking about there, what do you want to say? Just if you want to add direct.
Well, you know, our city is one of the hottest cities in the country, and so we just got numbers today about unemployment rate being the lowest, I think, of any major area in the country. And in terms of job growth, only I think a couple of cities in the country had more job growth than we did in the last year. And So there is certainly an upside to it. You know, the folks are in a position to get a job and earn a good wage in Nashville, and we've had moments in our history when that was not the case. And so I think we sort of have a little bit of a secret sauce when it comes to that right now, and we have to both be conscious about the fact that part of that secret sauce is the character of the city, and we got to be real careful about it. But at the same time, I think we need to expect that as a community, as a region, we're going to continue to grow for the next few years, and it's incumbent upon me and the leaders in the city to make sure that we build a place that is we're going to be proud of in 20 years, and I'm trying to do that.
All right, we're going to take a break. If you want to call in, there are a couple lines open. That's the number, 615-737-PLUS, 615-737-7587. Take a break. Be back right after this.